What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Good Old Hockey Podcast. My name's Sean, alongside David Galley. Galley, how you doing? I've had an eventful week, as you guys can see behind me. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you can't hear, but if you're watching on YouTube, you can tell. Got a new background. I just moved into a new house. Not fully moved in yet, but I feel a little bit more complete now that I have the setup all done. Did this today. But how was your weekend, Galley? How'd it go for you?
Had a pretty solid weekend. Friday night didn't do too much. Just hung out with some friends. Went downtown. Saturday went to the Boise State basketball game, which was a nail biter. They played Utah State, number
Yeah.
18 in the nation, and they unfortunately lost in overtime. But it was pretty cool to see overtime. I feel like you don't see basketball overtime as much as like
Yeah.
hockey overtime.
Yeah.
So can cross that one off the list. I was trying to make it to the Boise State hockey game, but
So was I.
my buddy didn't swing me some tickets, so yeah, maybe I'll go next time. But I mean, last year I was the one that was directing their Meals on Wheels game, so that was that was something that I just didn't make it to this Saturday night. But Sunday I had a hockey game, and it was a pretty close game. Not gonna lie, we had somewhat of a short bench, but same with the other team. We had like 3 or 4 players on the bench each, so I mean, there wasn't too much legs out there. But regardless, it was 3-3 going into the third period. We unfortunately were on the penalty kill. I intercepted this puck on the blue line with like 20-ish, 15 seconds left.
Mhm.
Game on my stick. I get like hooked or tripped or something. I think I got hooked. Didn't get a shot off. So these motherfuckers called a penalty shot. Okay.
Oh,
So I have a penalty shot in a 3-3 game with 6 seconds left. Yeah, I know. You can already see where this is going. And I went like I went in with somewhat of speed, but I just was trying to do like a forehand deke, and it did not end up well. Didn't end up scoring. Had the chance to win the game, but it was it built character for sure. It was the most tense situation I had in a beer league game yet. Just getting that shootout or that penalty shot at the end of the game was pretty cool. But it was also a bummer because my mom was watching the live feed of like the live farm. It was watching me for the first time ever for one of my games, and she was like, "Dude, you missed that penalty shot." I'm like, "Yep." I was like, that stings. My mom saw that. But
saw that happen.
yeah, dude, I've been thinking about it all day and last night. It's tough, man. It's tough to you had that penalty shot. Probably could have won the game. It would have been sweet, but yeah, dude. Next time I'm gonna do that, definitely go on my backhand. I feel like goalies read the forehand way too easy when it's a shootout.
They do. I've had not patent move, but something I've been doing recently. I haven't played in a while, but on like a breakaway, I'll have it on my forehand and like almost like fake a shot like forward, and then try to pull it to my backhand, and then cut back last second and go forehand. And usually the goalie bites. It's been working, but I don't know. I haven't played in a while, so it's probably my hands are pretty rock solid right now, so I don't know if I'd be able to pull that off.
True, and to be fair, from my defense, I was end of the game, end of the
It's
shit
nervous.
too,
Mhm.
and it was the first time I had a little bit of nerves in a beer league game. Usually, it's just it's pretty casual. But, I mean, I'm going balls to the wall, but it's casual more or less. You don't get too many situations like that. But I blew it. Sucked. I felt like Sidney Crosby when he was playing against the Habs his rookie year in that shootout, and I didn't end up scoring, so I did not fulfill that legacy. But then just closed off the night. Unfortunately saw the Chiefs win. And unfortunately saw the Niners win. I was really pulling for the Lions. I went to this place called Firehouse Pub, and they had $16 bottomless beers. So shout out Firehouse Pub. Fire deal. Took advantage of that. Saw my +7.5 Detroit Lions bet hit. So that was nice. It's a good end of the weekend, but I was wanting them to win because now we have to see the Niners in the Super Bowl again, which is like every other year. And then we have to see Taylor Swift. It's the Taylor Swift Bowl.
Well,
let's
the
be
Chiefs,
real.
I mean, the Chiefs have been in the final. I knew we were going to talk about football. I know we did this last episode too, but
It's
the
playoffs.
Niners. It is. It's big time. Um, the Niners played the Chiefs. I think it was 2019, 2020 season. They played them in the Super Bowl. Last time the Niners were in the Super Bowl, they played the
Yeah.
Chiefs, and then the time before that, they played the Ravens. So the Niners were bound for repeat either way if when they did win. But yeah, Saturday, I forgot. So as some of you guys know, if you haven't listened to this podcast, I'm going to plug it again. I'm with Tony Chesro, EASHL, NHL 24 player, most points in the game, or I think second most, whatever. I'm going to say first. But me and my friend Tyler, we play right now. It's club finals. So what they do is they do like 4 rounds. You got to win 4 games, and you get like the cup. It's like a Stanley Cup. It's like called like the Elite Cup or whatever. And on Saturday, we've tried this, mind you, we've played this game for consistently at least over a year, from like 2023 back in January. We've tried this club finals thing. We always get steamrolled, just like loss after loss. But this year, this Saturday, we went on I think a 5 or 6 game win streak, and we started in the third round. Like it's kind of been the whole week thing we've been working on. But Saturday we grinded, had a couple beers, got some confidence, and when you're talking about that penalty shot, it reminded me because I had I think it was the game 5 or whatever. We were up 3-2 in the series. It was in overtime, and I get a penalty shot, and I drilled it, and it was probably the best feeling I've ever had playing video games.
Fuck
Just
yeah.
like that satisfaction of winning some stupid video game online tournament. But yeah, it was a cool moment. I was definitely a little drunk, but it was worth it, honestly. It was a lot of fun.
That's fucking sweet, dude. I
Yeah.
love to hear that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We went the next day on Sunday, we went on to GTA Online, recreated our players, and then went to like one of the nightclubs. And I made a clip out of it on TikTok. Because I have a NHL TikTok too. It was a lot of fun. But
That's
yeah,
fucking
that was my
legend. Dude,
weekend.
I haven't played GTA online in so long. That shit used to be goated
It's
with the
changed
heists and shit, dude.
so much, but it's a lot of fun, honestly. They still have all that stuff.
Yeah.
But enough about our weekend. We got some hockey to get into. Again, another drama-filled week in the NHL. I don't know if this is ever going to end. I don't know what's going on this year. I genuinely think it's because we started a hockey podcast, or like we got to give these guys something juicy to talk about and get their views and clicks up.
All because of us.
Yeah, all because of us. We'll start with some of the lower stuff first and then build up. But Oilers right now, they're on a 16-game win streak, which is crazy because A, that's a super long win streak, but also beginning of the year, they were not hot. And they fired Jay Woodcroft. And we kind of said, we were like, well, maybe it'll turn out for them. And I think it has.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. I think that this win streak is one historical. It's already tied the second winningest win streak. I don't even know what I just said. Second winningest win streak, but second longest win streak ever in the NHL history. They're closing in on the 1992-93 Penguins stacked roster with Lemieux and Yager. They had a 17 game win streak.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they break that. They need one more win. They're playing the Golden Knights. They're at the Golden Knights too, on February 6th. So we're unfortunately not going to see them this week, which kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping
after the
we could
break?
at least see that. But yeah, so they're going to be post All-Star break, which might kind of fuck up their streak because it's like you're taking like a whole week and a half, basically a week and a half off. Because I don't think they played this weekend, but I mean, you're not going to play until February 6th, which is into next week. So that can seriously, that puts the Oilers in a tough spot to at least break the record. But I mean, regardless of that, I think, the Oilers going on the streak is massive for them, especially for this to happen around the halfway point going into the second half of the season. It's really going to, definitely going to light a fire under their ass to kick ass for the rest of the year and carry that momentum into the playoffs. So, pretty interesting. And I want to say, I mean, when the Pens played in 1992-93, I think they at least went to the conference finals. They might have even went to the Stanley Cup. They didn't win that year, but they had a hell of a team. They just came off of 2 consecutive Stanley Cups in the 92-93 season. So, it's fucking looking good in Edmonton right
Yeah.
now compared to the beginning of the season. We were
Yeah.
trashing on them at like
Yeah.
the quarter
No, we
mark.
were chirping them, but I mean, I feel like it kind of I don't know. I mean, I think they just kind of found their groove. I think they just had a rough start, which I mean, a lot of teams have. I want to say, did the Knights have a bad start last season? I forget.
Um, yeah, I don't know off
I
the
don't
top of
remember.
my
Yeah.
head,
Yeah.
but I don't
It just
think they
reminded me
had
like,
as bad of a start as the Oilers. But
no,
to
no,
be
no. The
fair, the
Oilers, yeah.
Oilers, the spotlight was like completely
Yeah.
on the Oilers this season
Yep.
because they were a favorite for the Pacific, let alone the
Yeah.
Western Conference. I think a lot of people had. So for them to
Yeah.
start that bad, it was like everyone was like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah. Yeah. That too.
Besides the Oilers, besides the
Yeah.
players, and the players really picked their shit up, especially their leadership group like Draisaitl and McDavid, and we're
Yeah.
dodging the shitty Canadian media up there with questions
Yeah.
and stuff, and they were really able to face that adversity. And I mean, shit, they're looking really good. They're looking like the
Yeah.
hottest team in the NHL right now. But I mean, if they can carry this into the postseason, it's gonna look good. But hey, we've
Yeah.
we've mentioned it all season. It's gonna come down to fucking goaltending. Like
Yep.
it's a
It will.
big it's a big thing still. The
Yep.
goalies have looked better though, to be fair. So
Yeah. No, they have looked better. I don't know. I think it's again. I've said this before, but I think it's good for the NHL if McDavid's doing good and his team is. Um, it always helps out, but I don't know. We'll see if it holds up in the playoffs. Yeah, go Flames. Well, actually, go Sharks. But I mean, as a Sharks fan, I've just accepted defeat this season. I'm okay with it. On to the
dude,
next. Give us
at,
3 years hibernation, work in the silence, come out strong.
at this point, just this is my side tangent of the Flames, like
Yeah,
weekly. I mean, holy shit, dude. They need to start selling assets. Lindholm, Hannafin, maybe even
yeah,
Jacob Markstrom. I don't know about Jacob Markstrom because he's having such a good year,
yeah.
but Chris Tanev, fucking get
That was good.
hauls
Yeah,
for them. Let's get a bunch of
yeah,
picks in this draft. Let's get some prospects. I just really need to see that happen because if fucking the management doesn't do shit at the trade deadline, I am going to be so I'm going to be so upset because all these
yeah,
players are going to walk in the offseason, like no doubt. Like the Flames
yeah.
aren't a contender right now.
No,
They're not going to be next year. I mean, with Huberdeau and
yeah,
Kadri, like fuck,
yeah. It's
man.
just very. It seems now like it should be a good team that's like pieced together, but it almost just seems like it's so mid. Like
Yeah,
it's just very. I mean, that's just what they're playing mid hockey right now. But
epitome of mediocrity, man. Like
yeah,
fuck that word up
yeah,
again.
you fucked that word up again. How do you mediocrity? I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll move on. Up next, so
they're mid though.
yeah, they are. Um, kind of a little bit on the lower side in terms of buzz right now, just because it's very new. Salt Lake. Actually, you go ahead. You talk about this because you know more than I do about this.
Yeah,
Just kind
100%.
of
So I
explain
think
the backstory.
yeah, so last week, obviously expansion hasn't been like the biggest talk in the NHL since Seattle did come into the league.
Yeah,
But,
pretty recently
after
too.
After Seattle did that, there's still some expansion talks, which I was like, there's 32 teams. That would be crazy if they added a team in
33. Yeah,
Houston or relocated any teams. I mean, anything like that. But the Salt Lake City the Utah Jazz owner actually formally submitted an expansion. So expansion, not relocation or anything, which I don't know if the NHL would go that route. They could potentially, or they could just give them the 33rd franchise, which would be kind of wacky if there's 33 teams.
yeah,
But yeah, he formally submitted an expansion request to the NHL, which I think is pretty shocking because I know last summer specifically with Arizona, when they kind of had that whole arena deal fallout, Salt Lake was like the number one team on there because I know
yeah,
Houston was like, I know that there's some interest there, but they were like, we're not hockey ready. But
yeah,
Salt Lake City, it was hockey ready. Their owner wanted them. So the fact that they formally submitted a name or submitted a request is it's pretty crazy, I think. And
yeah,
um, I don't know if I mean, I feel like some Salt Lake fans could get upset, and Utah fans, but like, I just don't know if the city's a hockey city because they got the Jazz, and I know the Jazz are
Yeah.
really popular there. So that's like the big hurdle because they would be playing in the same season, same arena too.
Yeah, that's true. They'd be yeah. Um, I don't know. I just so I just watched my brother play on Saturday against a team in Ogden, and they came down here. They kicked his ass. But to be fair, his team is very young, and they're playing 18s, but a lot of them should be playing 16s. But they're playing 18. I think it's double A. But they were a good team. So I feel obviously I think everywhere there's always a market somewhat for hockey, or at least there's kids that play that are good. Um, I think it's ahead of Houston, honestly. Um, Population I just looked up 1.2 million in Salt Lake City. So I don't know. It's not the biggest market, but I mean they have a team that played in Glendale, Arizona, and they could barely sell out their arena. Now I don't know how well the Jazz's attendance record is, or like how much they sell their tickets out and stuff like that. Obviously, the Jazz is like Salt Lake's team. It's like the Knights. The Knights are
Yeah.
always going to be Vegas's team, no matter if the A's are moving there or the Raiders. Like the Knights are Vegas's team. It's the first team they ever got professionally. That's their team.
100%.
Um, Salt Lake is the same case for the Jazz. It's their only team. I just don't know.
They did move there though. I mean,
They did.
that brings up a
Yeah,
good point
yeah.
from what you're saying. I mean, if Salt Lake were to get an NHL team, that would be Salt Lake's first homegrown
Yeah,
team that
that is true.
rather than a relocation. So,
Yeah,
I mean, going back on it, I mean, I don't know. I do think that Salt Lake has some pretty diehard fans, but right
yeah,
now they have an ECHL team.
they
I've
do.
been to games there. They don't have the biggest following, but to be fair, I mean, that's
It's
2 leagues
ECHL.
down from the
Yeah,
NHL. So it's like,
yeah,
it's fair that there's not a huge following, but I mean, even Boise, which is a lot smaller than Salt Lake City, has a way bigger crowd and
yeah,
just better fan base for their
yeah,
team. So, I mean, that's the one thing that just worries me. And then also the Jazz thing. The Jazz have a very good fan base and they sell
yeah.
out a lot. So,
Do they? Okay. Yeah,
um, yeah, just like kind of interfering with that in the same season might be a little bit difficult. But
yeah,
Utah is Salt Lake City in specific is very like winter
yeah.
focused. There's
It
skiing.
is.
Skiing's huge there. They've had the
Yeah.
Winter Olympics.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, they're going to be renovating their arena. If their owner's on board with it, then like I could see it working.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
gotta be a reason he's on board in the first place.
yeah.
Other than money. I feel like money is obviously one of the big ones. But, yeah, I don't know. Um, what is the oh my god, I messed it up. What is your top pick for their team name if they do end up getting this expansion?
So I think they're going to keep the Grizzlies. I
Okay.
think my backup for that is because they have the Utah Jazz with two Z's at the end.
Okay.
And I could see them doing the Utah Grizz with two Z's at the end,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
Salt Lake City Grizz. So
Yeah.
that's my guess on it.
Yeah.
It would be interesting if they didn't pick that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, what's your take on that?
I think I don't know how many teams come from like, I feel like a lot of team names are gonna try to be original. I don't think because the Utah Grizzlies would still be around, no? If they got that team? I feel like they'd still
I don't think
or would they
I think
move?
they would probably relocate is my guess
Yeah.
because I mean you have an NHL team in
Or they take them
Salt
as
Lake.
they just transition it into their AHL team.
That is true. I just feel like it's
They
such a
just
good
need a bigger
opportunity for their
barn,
name.
that too. Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a
it would
good
be it'd be interesting to see what they do with the ECHL team if
yeah,
that comes to fruition. I, I'm not totally sure on what exactly they do.
yeah,
I mean, they might move it around Salt Lake City. Say if they moved it to Ogden, or this is a crazy theory, but what if they moved it to Pocatello? Because Pocatello right now in
oh,
Idaho
Mud
Falls
Kings?
they have the Spud Kings and they have like
Yeah,
that's like a 5,000 seat arena, which same as the Steelheads
yeah,
in capacity, and that's totally somewhere they
yeah,
could do it.
yeah,
Not saying that's like
no spot.
I feel like I'm
Yeah,
probably the first person to ever say that about
yeah, yeah, as an
Pocatello getting an
AHL.
ECHL team. No, as an ECHL team. I
Oh,
don't know if they
ECHL?
could do it.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Honestly,
could do an AHL
yeah,
team there.
it would be cool. That'd be cool if they transition to ECHL. And I mean, I think for their AHL team, please let it be Boise. That would be so awesome. Like,
That
I
would
know
be
the arena
fucking sick, dude.
isn't up to standard what AHL wants, but look into it. Come on, just please
That would
for
be
us.
so sick,
Yeah,
dude.
it would be awesome. But so my pick for the name with their theme of kind of they're in a high desert climate. They've got some wildlife. Obviously, in the wintertime, very winterized there. Skiing's big. All the winter sports are big. But what I saw online was a big one was the Rattlers, which I think would be cool.
Mhm.
Um, just because I don't know the Grizzly. Not that I don't disagree. I think it'd be cool if they had that like kept the name kind of thing and they got some history with it. But
Yeah.
I think the Rattlers would be cool. Just like a snake themed. They don't really have that. The only other desert hockey we've got is the Coyotes, which is a cool name, awesome name. I think some sort of snake would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that would be sweet, and there's already an NBA team named the Grizzlies, so,
that too. But
and
we got
even
the Kings.
college teams named,
Yeah,
the
that's true.
Grizz and stuff, so,
Yeah, yeah,
they might go with the Rattlers. I can't name a fucking team named the Rattlers off the top of my
yeah.
head in any sport, so,
I was only thinking
um,
Diamondbacks just because it's like a snake theme in Arizona, but
yeah,
they wouldn't call
yeah,
them the Diamondbacks. They'd call them whatever. But yeah, I think the Rattlers would be kind of cool as
yeah,
my name. So we'll see if that comes to
and
true.
yeah, 100%. One last thing I do see
Yeah.
with this too is like the city of Salt Lake City is supposedly really trying hard for an Olympic bid. So them
Ooh.
revamping
Yeah.
their, hockey market as well as kind of making that new arena and make that usable for the Olympics. I could see that happening too and that pushing the NHL to put a team there because that's happened in the past with teams. It happened with like Calgary. Calgary built their fucking Saddle Dome for the Olympics in 1988.
Ooh, I
So
didn't know that.
there's definitely some, and I'm sure there's other arenas that's happened
Yeah.
at, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what the NHL does with Salt Lake. I don't think they're gonna get into any actual talks until the summer. I think they announced that the NHL did. So I don't think it's gonna be next year, but who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
the year after, a
Take
couple
some
years,
time.
3 years. So
Yeah. The Kraken took a bit of time. I mean, I'd say like 2 or 3 year turnaround from getting the yes to actually playing their first game. Maybe a little bit quicker because they have the stadium or the arena already. But one last question about this. Obviously, know you're a diehard Calgary Flames fan, but would that Utah team be your close second favorite team?
yeah, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm just gonna
Like,
say yeah for right now.
would we jump
I
on
would
that and be like, because it's close by, it's only 5 hours.
it
Well, how
is,
far is
it is.
Calgary's
I
further?
mean, yeah, Calgary's a lot further. It's the closest team here, 100%. And
Yeah,
also, I mean, I think I'd be a fan of them. Fuck it, for
yeah,
sure. I mean, not only that, I just think that, like, in terms of rivalry, I think that they have, like, Salt Lake City has a rivalry with so many different, like, even geographically, but also like expansion teams.
yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
there's so much room for rivalries to happen with either
yeah.
Colorado, Seattle,
Oh, yeah.
Arizona, even.
I feel like they would
Um,
play in the Central. Do you think that?
yeah, I
They're
think
on
they play
Mountain
in the
Time.
Central too.
They'd probably yeah. So they'd probably be Colorado would probably be their biggest rival. Mm, maybe Vancouver. Eh, I don't know. We'll see. If it happens, it
Dude,
happens.
another
But
question.
yeah.
I briefly brought this up. Is it going to be the Salt Lake City Coyotes? That could always be a
Oh,
thing too.
that
There
is
could always
true. They
be a
could get a
relocation
relocation.
because,
Jinx. Yeah.
but we'll see about that. It's
We'll
going to
see.
be
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
how this all plays out because if they
Yeah.
relocate, I could see them taking Coyotes name with them, just like they took the Jazz, and there's fucking
Yeah.
Coyotes all over the place in Utah. So
That's true. Yeah, that'd be a good name. We'll see if that happens. I know my friend Tyler is a big Arizona Coyotes fan, so I don't know that he would love that for the relocation, but I don't know. We'll see. But uh next topic, we're going to talk about this. It's happened, I want to say last week. we got the news broke, or I think it was right after we filmed. It always happens. Every
Yeah.
time we film something, the next day there's some big news that breaks, and we're always a week late. But the 2000 and was it 16 or 18?
2018, the hockey, Team Canada from the World
Yeah.
Juniors, we're involved in a court case right now. I don't think there's been any specific details about it.
Mhm.
I know it's around sexual assault, which is really puts Hockey Canada and all the players that were involved in a tough situation.
Yep.
I know the London police are handling this whole case, and they asked 6 NHL players or 6 professional hockey players to turn themselves in. So
Mhm.
far, only Alex Formenton has, but a bunch of players have taken leave from the NHL or AHL or other
Yep.
pro leagues for personal reasons. And I'm sure everyone knows this is not swept under the rug like it was for
Yeah.
years, but Carter
Yeah.
Hart was one of them, which that's probably the biggest name on there. He's having a hell of
Yeah.
a season too. It's on my
Yep.
fantasy team. It's tough that
Yeah.
happened on my fantasy team. We
Yeah.
got Michael McLeod, who's not the biggest of name. Cal Foote, pretty good prospect. Dylan Dubé, pretty
Mhm.
pretty solidified NHL player there. And then Alex Formenton, which he has played in Switzerland, I think, this year, because I don't know if he kind of got tipped off a couple years ago, but the
Yeah.
Senators didn't end up signing him. I mean, he had 32 points in his rookie season. That's that's no little amount of points. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good rookie season. So,
Yeah.
obviously, there's some certain things going on within Hockey Canada, within the Ottawa Senators organization. I mean, a lot of this stuff has been behind the scenes and swept under the
Yeah.
rug. I remember hearing about this years ago.
Really?
And yeah, 100%. Because I remember a lot of people were like, Cale Makar was part of that team. Cale Makar publicly came out and
Mm.
said he's not part of it. A lot of the players on that team
Yeah.
did come out and say that, but now it has slimmed down to these 5 or 6 players, and
Mm.
shit's about to get serious for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
One for Hockey Canada. I think it makes Hockey Canada look really, really bad because they covered it up for so
Yep.
long.
Yeah.
And in quite kind of a sus way too.
Mm.
Um,
Well, then they
but
paid her off, is that correct?
I
Or, like,
don't think
they had, like, yeah, to, like, sweep it under the rug, they had done something just shady and, like, I don't know. I don't like, we don't wanna talk about this just because 'cause we don't know all the details yet, so we don't wanna spout something off and accuse anyone of anything until it's all been proven, and, yeah, that's just on our part. It's unfortunate for everyone that is involved, the alleged victims and just every player and every team
yeah,
that has that too. I mean, the teams are especially what the Flyers with Carter Hart. Is that right? Carter Hart Flyers?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really tough blow to the Flyers,
Yeah.
especially this season. But I mean, I think the
They
biggest thing is just like this hurts Hockey Canada a lot,
yeah.
one.
I think
But it
this
just
hurts hockey.
yeah, it hurts the whole sport of hockey, like the fact that
Yeah.
players are I mean, to be fair though, I mean, like you just said, I mean, this shit could totally be another
Yeah.
Patrick Kane situation, not saying that it
Yep.
is,
Yeah.
but I mean, we don't know enough details. We don't know
Exactly.
the history of it. So, like, I prefer just to like keep my mouth shut about this all, but
Yep.
I still do think it's a big hit for hockey because I do
Yeah.
think it's bringing a negative uh
Yeah.
connotation. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the right word, but
Of
negative
hockey
view
players. Yeah.
towards hockey and hockey
Yeah.
players and what they're like.
Mhm.
And I don't think it's a good representation of hockey players in general if that did happen. But
Yeah.
holy shit, I mean, that's some big drama for this year and going forward. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with all of that.
Mhm.
Um, because I mean, it's going to affect hockey. It's going to affect NHL teams. It's going to affect these players too. So,
Yeah.
very, very interesting about all of that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's all we're gonna talk about. That's all we're gonna say on it because we don't know, and we don't wanna say something that, I don't know, isn't true. That's not what we're about. I don't wanna spread rumors or drama or I heard this, I heard that. Because obviously all of us have heard something or I've seen and read stuff, but we just don't know if it's true or not. So just not gonna really touch on it if we don't know if it's 100% true or not. So,
100%.
but yeah, overall, I think it's a big blow to the game, to everyone involved, and Hockey Canada and everything like that. Another kind of sad part of the game happened pretty recently. Patrick Laine of the Columbus Blue Jackets, who we actually talked about early on in the season, kind of about like how he's just not performing as he should. He recently went into I forget exactly what it's called, but it's basically
Player
like the rehab.
player
What is it?
assistance program. It's
Player
a player
assistance program.
assistance program for the NHL.
Yep. Same thing Corey Perry went into after his whole thing. And I don't know. We don't really know the details of what exactly he's going there for, which we don't need to. I mean, it's his business. I'm glad that the NHL has that. I'm sure every league has some sort of that, but I feel
Hmm.
like the NHL has just gotten a lot of attention from this recently, especially with like Corey Perry and now Patrick Laine. Um, but yeah, I mean um, his just overall performance this year has not been up to his standard, and now we're kind of seeing why and exactly what happened to
Yeah,
what that was.
100%. I mean, and the past 2 seasons, besides this season, the past 2 seasons, he's been a point per game player. I mean, he's
Mhm.
still a good player. I don't
Yeah,
think in any way he's a bust. I think he's gonna be able to come back for this
yeah,
from
yeah.
this. I mean, he's a second overall draft pick. He was fucking excellent for the Jets. I
Mhm.
remember his first couple seasons. I mean, one of those seasons he scored 44 goals. I mean, this guy
Yeah,
is a fucking stud when he's on it.
yeah,
But yeah, right now he's not really on it.
yeah,
And that really sucks for him. It sucks for the Blue Jackets. I mean, the Blue Jackets are in fucking despair, man. Like, I
yeah,
mean, this
yeah.
happening is a big blow. I'm curious, like, is he gonna request a trade out? Is this, I wonder if this is issues because it's not, not necessarily because of him, but it's issues stemming from the team.
Yeah.
Because I mean, shit, dude, the Corey Perry situation, that wasn't specifically because of Corey Perry. I mean, that was because of, kind of a reason was involved with the team, and that's why he
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
had to enter that. So, I'm interested if he does request a trade out, because he did, he got traded from the Jets pretty recently. He's only 25 years old too, so he's
Yeah,
young.
he's young, yeah. No, yeah, I mean, I don't know that depends on what the situation is. If it's a personal issue, I don't see him requesting a trade out. If it's within management and, I don't know, something higher up that's causing him to go into this player assistance program, then yeah, I could see him definitely trying to move out. But again, we don't know the details. We don't know what's happening. We don't know why. Um, so it is hard to see just like people struggle like that within the game of hockey. But luckily, he's got the NHL player assistance program, which seems like it's worked out for Corey Perry, at least for the time being. Um, him with the Oilers. So we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah,
Best of luck to him. Yeah.
I hope Line A is gonna make it out okay. I think be sweet to see him make a big comeback, and because he's a good goal scorer. He's a natural goal scorer.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, when he's on, he's a fun player to watch. So I hope he gets
He
back to
is.
his form.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right. Well, enough with the sad stuff. We're going to get back into the fun stuff of hockey, which is this weekend. We got the All Star game coming up. A lot of nights or a lot of festivities in the night. Do you know when? So I know the skills comp is on Friday. Do you know when they do the draft?
I think it's on Thursday night. I want to
Thursday night.
say
Okay. That'll be
so.
fun.
Yeah, I think we do have that coming up soon. So I'm fucking stoked for that.
Yeah. So a lot of festivities this weekend. All Star weekend's always fun for the players, the fans, and even the players not playing. They go out to vacation and get a week off, which is nice. Um, Also crazy that it's already All-Star weekend. Like, I feel like I blinked and now it's at the All-Star game.
Yeah, I
But
blinked and the fucking Oilers are on a 16-game win
yeah,
streak.
that too. Oh my god, yeah. I know, I feel like it was just yesterday we were talking about how bad they are.
I
Um,
know, dude.
yeah. But we're gonna do something here with us, for the draft. I love that they're bringing this back and doing this style of picking playoff teams rather than the Pacific Central, Metro and Atlantic. I think it's kind of cool to represent like your conference and stuff like that, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like it's just a little imbalanced. I feel like the NBA figured that out really quick, couple years ago when they were like, shit, like the East is just stacked and the West sucks.
Yeah.
Um, so not to say that the West sucks in hockey, but I think it's a little bit it's different. I think they need to change it up every couple of years, make it interesting, bring it back, take it away, bring it back.
I think the NHL All-Star draft just shows personality of the players a little bit
That
more.
too.
And when they have had this in the past, there's been some pretty funny moments. And
Yeah,
just in
yeah.
today's social media age and stuff, like there's gonna be
Oh
some
yeah.
funny moments again, and it's gonna get a lot of publicity for the
Yeah.
NHL. And fucking A, I mean, I know you were getting jonesed about it last week. I mean, we're gonna have Tate McRae up there and
Oh yeah. Oh
all
yeah.
sorts of celebrities
Yeah.
up there. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's gonna help out with publicity too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think the celebrity captains are awesome. It
yeah,
brings another it's all the fans. If you're a Justin Bieber fan, you're gonna go watch it. Um, I mean, it's also very Canada focused, which I mean, it's in Toronto, so why would it not be?
yeah,
All the actors and actresses and singers, or whatever, um, are all Canada based. So I think it's cool. But what we're gonna do is kind of try to predict the first 5 players to be picked. Yeah, I don't know if you did this, but I kind of have explanation on like why I'm trying to do like 1 through 5, like who's first, who's second, who's last, like that kind of thing. Um, I'll go first. So my first, I don't know how they're gonna do this. They'll probably flip a coin or draw a stick or something. But with the captains that we have, I try to think who they would pick. Obviously, I think teammates are going to be very obvious first choice. Um, so from Toronto, I think Austin Matthews is going to get the first pick, him and Beebs. And I think those two are going to pick their, what's it called? Get their third stooge, I guess. I don't know. They're going to pick Mitch Marner, I think, first.
okay,
Obviously, Toronto boy, homegrown, or not homegrown, but he's a Toronto Maple Leaf. Also, Marner, Matthews, and Bieber always hang out together. So that's going to be their first pick. Next one, I think Nate Mack and Tate McRae. I'm going to go with Cale Makar, his teammate. Um, again, easy second pick. Third pick, Connor McDavid. Again, easy one. He's going to pick Draisaitl. No one else. I don't think he can really call a best friend. Other than Draisaitl. And then for Hughes, the Hughes brothers, this was tough. I was trying to do some digging and see if they've played with anyone, see if they've got a member of their clique that they have on there, but I really couldn't find anyone. So I'm going to go with Kucherov as the fourth pick just because of how well he's doing this season. And for the fifth pick, I don't know if they're going to do a snake draft or not, but assuming that they go back to the first round or first overall with the Maple Leafs, they're going to pick William Nylander. So it's a very basic explanation of why it's just teammate, but trying to see just based on like who the names are, who the people are, who they're going to give 1 through 5.
yeah. No, I think those are some solid predictions. It's gonna be interesting to see how
Yeah.
it shakes out and who gets the order of it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of go at least differently,
Yeah.
than you just because those are good picks. I mean, those are
Mhm.
very solid picks. I feel like
You
those
could
should
reuse mine
happen.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see what route they go, but I do think that St. Matthews picks first.
Mhm.
I do think that they're gonna go with Cale Makar, just because Cale Makar is probably one of the best players defensively and
Yeah.
offensively. So it's like, why would
That's
you
true.
not pick him?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
Um, I think it would be pretty interesting to see them snag that from McKinnon's team too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think Draisaitl is going to get picked up by McDavid's team. I think
Yep.
that's definitely going to happen. But I could also see McDavid, if Draisaitl's gone, I could see him picking Kucherov. But I do think that McKinnon's going to have to be stuck with Kucherov.
Mhm.
That would probably be it one. And then I'm thinking the Hughes brothers pick Brock Besser
Yeah. I can see that. That was one of my other picks.
just because he
13, just
plays with
because.
Quinn
Yeah.
Hughes.
Yeah. Vancouver.
And then I think that Marner is not going to get picked till the second round, but he's going to get picked by Matthews too.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's how I think it shakes out. I just don't see Marner being necessarily a first round pick. I think the first
Yeah.
round is going to be a little bit strategic and a little bit of
That is fair.
captains screwing people over. Um,
Yeah. That's
But I mean,
actually I didn't really think about that. If Matthews is picking first and he picks Marner, that's kind of crazy, but I feel like he kind of has to.
I think he
But
kind of has to too, but
yeah,
also, no, no, I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe it's fun for them to play against each other.
yeah, that too. Yeah, I think for Toronto, I think it could be interesting. But if they can get, I mean, how many Maple Leafs are in that All Star game? I think there's like four.
I want to, yeah, 3 or 4. I want to say Morgan,
Yeah.
Riley, Nylander, Marner, and
Yep.
Matthews. There's 4
Okay.
of
Yeah.
them
So
right
they got
there.
four, which is a line plus one for. Do they have? Is there? No, he's not playing. Yeah. I mean, that's like a line and an extra skater for the 3 on
Yeah.
3 team. But yeah. Um, I don't know. I'm kind of rethinking that Marner pick now.
I mean, I think that it could happen. I feel like
Yeah.
Marner and Nylander could definitely get swooped up first round, but I
Yeah.
feel like the smart analytical pick,
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
go with Cale Makar first.
You
Like
do.
I
Yeah.
was looking at like obviously, McDavid and McKinnon, the Hughes brothers, um, and Matthews are all top 4, 5 players
Mhm.
in the fucking league right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like Cale Makar is probably the best out of
Yeah.
what's available. I mean, I
What's
hate to
available?
say it, like
Yeah.
I think he's better than Draisaitl and Kucherov. I think those players both have him beat in some aspects, but as an overall hockey player in a 3-on-3 environment, I think Cale Makar might be the best player in this game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
No,
he's
I agree.
fucking electric. So
He is.
who do you
Who do you
who do you
think?
think? Sorry, go
Well,
ahead.
we're gonna ask this.
I
Who
think
do
you're
you
gonna ask
think
a
is
question.
gonna be? Who do you think is gonna be picked last in the All Star game, though?
This one's hard, but I think just with his track record in the NHL of kind of being a goon and kind of a hard nosed player,
Yeah.
Tom Wilson. I think
Yeah, I
Tom
can see
Wilson,
that.
because it's kind of a
Yeah.
surprise he made the All-Star game. So I think some of the players are going to have a little bit of fun clowning on
Wait,
him because he's been clowning on players the whole,
did
their whole
Obi? Obi
careers.
didn't make it?
No, Obi did not make it.
Whoa, that's crazy. I would have thought
Yeah,
he. Ugh, that's so
there was
gross.
some
I
pretty
can't
bad.
believe.
There was some pretty bad snubs from this All-Star game,
Yeah.
but just the format they did, like one player from each team, it kind of. I mean, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a lot of players
Yeah.
that should have made it that didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, who do you
He's
got
only
for
got
last pick?
Tom Wilson's a good one. I'm scrolling through this here. Oh my god, we forgot about Sydney. Sid's in this. Um, I could honestly see Jack and Quinn picking up Brady at some point. Like, I feel like there's going to be this like clicky thing where you have. Oh my god, I scrolled past the Eastern Conference. I mean, Pasta too. Like, I feel like he's got to go first round.
I mean,
Maybe
dude,
not first
McKinnon and
round.
Crosby are homies though. Like that could be a
Ooh,
pretty
I could
solid
see
pick
that.
for McKinnon.
And who?
But
How? Like, who wouldn't want to have Sidney Crosby on their team?
I don't know though.
Like,
Kale McCarr though, that makes sense though for McKinnon's pick. Not gonna
it
lie,
does.
because dude, Kale McCarr is from Calgary. Guess who else is
Yeah.
from Calgary? Tate McRae, who is with Nathan McKinnon.
Ooh,
So I think
yeah.
it's gotta happen. It's
It's gotta
gotta
happen.
fucking happen, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see that.
But I don't know.
That'd
My
be a good team.
predictions are different. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think the last pick's always tough. Maybe Hurdle. I mean, I I love the guy, but I just don't think he's an all-star. I mean, I think there's a lot of guys on there that I would just kind of look and be like, I don't know why they're playing in the all-star game. It's kind of that's a big achievement for a player to be named an all-star. Um, but yeah, I think those are good picks so far. With the time we have right now, I'm gonna try to move on to the next one though. The skills competition. So Saturday is the All-Star game. Friday night will be the skills comp. This stuff's always fun. Last year I thought it was a little, I don't know, a little boring. Thought it could be better.
yeah.
McDavid like cleaned house, of course, with all of his championships last year. The way they're doing it though this year is kind of cool. They're going to compete in 4 of 6 events. There'll be the fastest skater, hardest shot, stick handling competition, one timers, the passing challenge, then the accuracy challenge, which I think is always the funnest, or not the funnest, but I think that the accuracy one is always, it's just interesting to see how good these fucking players are that they can drill all 4 corners in the matter of like 5 seconds. Like, that's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
I think all of them are really cool.
I think
Hardest
Cheetos
shot's
being
always fun.
yeah, Cheetos being the sponsor for the accuracy shooting is gonna be interesting. I
Yeah,
guarantee you, we get that Cheeto mascot out there for some
he better.
activities.
Chester Cheeto, yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be funny. But who is your pick to win the skills comp this year?
I'm gonna say Jack Hughes is my
Okay.
pick. I think he's just I think he's gonna sweep house in accuracy shooting, passing challenge, stick handling. I think he's one of the best players in the league for that.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to rack up his points there. So within those, within those events, at least the top 8 advance to the 7th event, which is a shootout, and the top
Ooh,
6 advance to the final event, which is an obstacle course, which includes all the skills
yeah.
and worth double the points. So it's gonna be interesting to see who
Okay.
goes on to that, and that's gonna help any of those players out a lot.
Yeah.
I do think Jack Hughes does has it have it. I think out of
Yeah.
all of those players, he's gonna want it the most. And I just feel like the NHL, it would be good for the NHL. I think
Yeah.
he hasn't really won too much himself. So I feel
Mhm.
like this is something that he's gonna really want. I think McDavid's already had his glory in the All-Star.
Yeah.
But I'd say,
It's
a second slot in pick, I'd say like one of the Toronto boys, Nylander or Matthews, is
mm,
probably gonna win it just because they got the home crowd.
yeah. Yeah, they got the home crowd behind their back. Matthews a good pick. I'm kinda rethinking the pick I wrote down. I wrote down Pasta, but, I mean, he's such a good, like, character in the NHL. He always looks like he's having the time of his life. He's just happy to be playing hockey, which I think everyone can take away to some extent and just, I don't know, living life happy. He'd be a good pick to win. I just really have a hard time betting against Connor McDavid because all those skills comps that you're saying are right up his alley too. I mean,
Yeah.
passing, the shot accuracy, he killed it last year. Fastest skater is Nathan McKinnon. Yeah, he is. McKinnon could beat him for that. I think McKinnon's not a lot faster, but he's a quick guy too, and he's healthy this year. Um, so I don't know. I'm gonna go with McKinnon or McDavid as my pick for the skills comp. My final choice. I'm not gonna be picking two. I'm gonna go with Nathan McKinnon. I think this is his
Okay.
year to kind of come out of his shadow of his injury, and I think he's gonna kill it at the All-Star game competition this year.
That's a that's a good guess. I just think Jack Hughes because he's
Yeah.
polarizing in the league right
I
now.
love Jack
So
Hughes, yeah. I think I'd be happy if he won. Um, honestly, any of these guys really. Let's see on this so I forgot to mention who's playing, but Matthews, Nylander, Jack Hughes, McKinnon, Makar, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nikita Kucherov. Oh,
and
and
then
also David Pastrnak as well.
and JT Miller, Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson too.
Oh, I totally skipped past them. Yep, them 2. Honestly, Cale Makar is another dark horse too to win that skills comp.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
He is a fast
100%.
skater. He's got probably a hard shot. I mean, out of all those guys, hardest shot? Ooh, we'll see. I don't know. I'm gonna stick with McKinnon though.
I'm
Wishy
excited.
washy.
I'm really excited for this
I am
event though.
too.
It's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be better than the previous year's
I
All-Star
agree.
game because
Yeah.
just because they one have $1 million prize, but then also just kind of the lead up of events and there's
See,
points.
yeah.
So I think that's good.
It's a whole spectacle, and that's how it should be. I mean, that's the All-Star game. It's a whole weekend of festivities, stuff like that. I'm glad they're doing this. I think the NHL did it right this year. Um, maybe I'm speaking too early. We'll see when the actual game is and like what it turns out to be. But I do like that they're doing that prize for the winner because I feel like that's been such a common theme. I mean, the Pro Bowls like for NFL is such a throwaway. Like that's next weekend, and no, like people might watch that, but
I
I'm
know
sorry, but the
flag
Pro Bowl
football.
game's
Come
so
on,
stupid. Yeah, it's just like
it is.
I don't know. It's dumb. The NBA All Star game is cool. I think I don't know. It's all right. MLB does it good.
Ish. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like no one really tries, and it's the All Star game. They're supposed to be having fun, but I want some competition. You know, I want some. They don't have to be going balls to the wall and like laying each other out, but he's having playing some defense. You know, get your goalie
yeah.
like bail him out a bit. Um, But yeah, we will see this weekend. Tune in, everybody, to that All-Star game. Come back with us next week. We'll break it down. Do you have any closing thoughts about just this week of hockey?
No, not really. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of. Actually, this week might be a little slow because there's only 3 games this week. So,
That's true, but you
it's
never
going to be
know.
it is going to be a pretty slow week. My prediction is going to be a slow week. Besides the All Star game, that'd be crazy if it's not.
Yeah.
But nothing out of the ordinary for this season. But
Yeah.
I hope the Calgary Flames, going back on the Calgary Flames, I hope they start trading some players away
Yeah.
because if not,
When
we're
is the
not going to be set
deadline?
up for
March?
success. Yeah, I think I want to say
Yeah.
it's very beginning of March. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my closing thoughts. Shout out everyone listening.
Yeah.
We're gaining some more followers with this. And yeah, we got lots on the horizon in terms of interviews and all sorts of shit coming up. So
Yep.
stay tuned.
Yeah. Stay tuned, everybody. Thank you guys for listening. As always, if you're at this point, we want to give you a big thank you because it means a lot to us if you're listening. Leaving comments too. I know someone, I'm going to shout them out actually because they're pretty cool. We've got Niles Mauser. I don't know if I said that right, but commenting on our YouTube video last week. Awesome. He said, I grew up watching Patrick Waugh. I'm a Detroit Red Wings fan. Love hockey talk, but I must admit, I watch it most when the playoffs start. Football is my first love. Played 30 years, coached 30 years. And I was like, that's awesome, man. Thank you for commenting. And then he said, if you ever need a guest for football analysis, old coach will hook you up. Keep up the good work. So thank you, Niles. Appreciate the subscribe as well. So any of you guys listening, leave us a comment. Let us know. It makes us feel good. Gives our ego a little boost. I'm kidding. But just lets us know that we're doing good and we're entertaining you guys because that is our goal. And talk some hockey along the way. So NHL season is just every week is just going to get hotter and hotter. I think once football season kind of comes to a close, I mean, the NBA usually always gets all the attention, but I don't know this year with the amount of drama we got, we'll see. This will be a fun playoffs this year as it starts to kind of line up. We'll see where the Oilers are at that point. I mean, who knows? They could be on top of the league next week. Oh, I guess no, because they don't play this week. But at the end of the month, who knows?
They could
But yeah,
break
guys,
records next week, though.
they could. They could. We'll be on the lookout for that. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. But enjoy the All-Star game. Enjoy your week. And we will see you guys next time.